Ciao, familia mia. Hello, my Italian family. This is Gregg Braden. I am in my country today. I'm in a studio in the high deserts of northern New Mexico. I'm thinking about you specifically. I know the world is having a difficult time, and I'm really thinking about my family in Italy, my friends, all of the people that have been so kind to me, the times that I have been in your country. And I wanted to send you a message today, a message of hope, a message of possibility, a message of optimism, because I am optimistic and I'm also a realist. I'm optimistic about what's happening and where we're going in our world right now. And I'm also a realist. And I'm a realist because I'm a scientist. I think many of you know that I am a geologist, a degreed geologist. What you may not know is that before that, I was a marine biologist. I transitioned into marine geology that became terrestrial geology. And I say that to you only for this reason. That background, my background in the life sciences, has given me what I need to sift through the scientific literature, the new reports that are coming out almost on a daily basis, to understand the COVID-19 virus, to understand what it means to us and what we're going through. And I want to tell you, the literature gives us reason to be hopeful. So I'm going to say this to you right off. You are made for times just like this. Your body is wired to not only survive, but to thrive and adapt in times just like this. You have everything you need to not just survive, but to transcend what life has brought to your doorstep and what life is bringing to my doorstep right now. The key is we must love ourselves enough to give our bodies what our bodies need so that our bodies can be at their very best. Now, what has been a choice and lifestyle in the past becomes a necessity for our ability to adapt. All the things that you already know, all the things of lifestyle. Movement is medicine. Movement is important. Any kind of movement. If you can do yoga, if you can do floor exercises, if you can lift weights, if you can go for a walk, those things are important. Nature, if you can be in nature, that is important. If you cannot, you can do these things indoors. Nutrition. Now, my Italian family typically has a very good diet already, and I know that you know that. But it's a time to even bear in mind even more how important that nutrition is in our lives. Good sleep, reducing the stress, all of these things are important to us. People that are succumbing to this virus are those that are immune compromised. The problem is some people don't know they're immune compromised. What these studies are showing is that obesity contributes to immune compromise, high blood pressure contributes to immune compromise, as well as people that have been on chemotherapy and radiation, cancer experiences. We all know those are hard on the immune system. If you fit into those categories, just be honest with yourself and take a little bit more care, extra care for yourself. What I know is that we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together. We're going to be better people. We're going to have stronger communities. We're going to have stronger nations. And I think our nations are going to be more cooperative with one another. The world is watching Italy right now, and we are learning from you, Italy. And I want to thank you for everything that you're sharing with us so that we can know better how to care for ourselves. You're finding out, you're on the front lines. You're finding out what works and what doesn't work. And for those that have the wisdom to watch what is happening in Italy right now, they are benefiting. We are benefiting from your experience. My optimism also comes not only from the fact that our bodies are designed to adapt to something like this, but from the timing. Typically, epidemics, viral epidemics, don't last very long. There is a season, and that season typically runs from March, April, and May, begins to taper out in May, June, and July. So we're in that season right now. The question is, does the COVID-19 follow that pattern? The answer is we don't know for sure, but we have no reason to believe that it does not. And I think we're going to see this behind us. It's going to be in the rearview mirror sooner than we know. There's a new world that is now emerging. When this is over, we're going to step into a new world. It's not going to be like the world of the past. The key is that that new world doesn't exist yet. And the choices that you and I are making in our lives right now are going to determine what kind of world we step into. My sense is that we will find more localized ways of living, localized sources of food, localized sources of energy, localized economies. Those are all healthy ways to live in our time of extremes. Now, many of those things you're already doing. Italy has a lot of rural communities, and you're already doing that, as we are here in my home in northern New Mexico. And the world is now learning how important this is, localized forms of living, because the connection that we have to other nations on the other side of the planet is a very fragile connection. It can be. And the things that we need in our everyday lives, we need to have locally. So we're making choices right now about what that world is going to look like. I'm optimistic because now we know what works and what doesn't. And things that don't work and are unsustainable, let's stop doing them. The things that do work, now is the time to do even more of those things. But the really important thing is to care for ourselves and to care for one another. We're being asked to socially distance ourselves, but that does not mean social isolation. So now more than ever, I think it's important to reach out and connect with friends, with family, with loved ones. To be very honest, there is an emotional component that's not being talked about in the mainstream. We are a world in grief. We are grieving the loss of a way of life. We are being prevented from living the kind of life that we've always enjoyed living, where we socialize with one another and go to conferences and concerts and meetings and gather in parks and restaurants. And that is a form of grief. Grief, we are all grieving the loss of a way of life. And when Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, when she talks about grief, I can't do it any better than she has done. She talks about the 5 stages of grief. The denial that comes first, the anger, the depression, and then the ability to move from that to bargaining for the new world that's emerging, and ultimately to the acceptance where we actually begin thinking in front of us. And we will all go through these 5 stages. The key is, do we get stuck in those 5 stages, or can we move through them quickly? And that's why I'm sharing this with you now. I'm going to invite you to take really good care of yourself. And if you haven't in the past, be honest with yourself. And not hard on yourself, but honest with yourself and say, yes, there are things I could do differently. Maybe I could eat a little healthier. Maybe I could get more regular sleep. Maybe I could move my body a little bit more. All of these are ways that we love ourselves so that our bodies can do what they are designed to do in times just like this. And when we do those things, there is less to fear. And we know that we're simply going to go through the process and we are coming out on the other side. And what we do right now, the choices right now are determining what happens on the other side. So there's a new world emerging. You're part of that world. I'm part of that world. Your country is showing us what we need to do to make that world work. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. I'm looking forward to building that world together. We are going to get through this together, and we will be better for it. I look forward to being in your country as soon as possible for the conferences that we had planned. Until I get there, what I want to know is I love you. I love you, my Italian family. And I so appreciate your determination, your perseverance, your willingness to do what it takes to triumph, to adapt to this new way of life and to stay healthy so that we can all live the life that we know is possible. Thank you for clicking the link that's connecting us today. Take good care, and I look forward to seeing you in person sooner than later.